That's the better way to do it. Action,
Hey.
always.
And it is.
I will go second.
Always until it's not.
That's not what I wanted to hear. Okay.
Well, I'm going second, so.
There it is. Good luck, good luck.
What? Thank you. What globals do you have?
Static field, too big to fly. Atlas, supreme intelligence. Oh, Black Widow. I can make you
Force
attack.
attack.
Yeah.
Oh wow, force attack. Okay. I have force block too.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have force block. Action cheaper. Becky Lynch. Atlas.
So just looking to see what sort of the gist is of these two teams.
No fixers, right?
I don't have one, unless you want to put one on your team real fast. Just real
Looks
fast.
like Mike's going to be playing towards using this page manager card to get some of his big boys like Stompa or
I want to shake you more.
some of his other big stuff.
No
Steven
fixers, right?
Steven is going to be, it looks to me like he's going to be using Lita and Bobby Heenan.
Go ahead.
Yep, Lita and Bobby Heenan. He's just going to essentially continue to attack until you kill your opponent.
That thing on the focus. Fix that. Was it you that posted that thing on Facebook? The
There it is. We're back.
the
So I think Mike's team is going to be go for the big boys, right? He's going to be trying to get Stompa, going to get Thanos. Using again the page manager action here.
No, we don't need to bring it over.
It's going to be an interesting matchup against that big boys versus Steven's little boys and girls. So the Lita and Bobby Heenan, I think, are going to be the showcased pieces here. Going to be using that Black Widow global to force things to attack that he doesn't want to stick around. He also has too big to fly, which I'm not sure if he's planning on buying the action, but it would be good against Stompa or something bigger like Becky Lynch or something. KO.
That's all it is.
KO. Fish slap with Bobby Heenan. Yeah, this is going to get wild here in a bit. Plus, Lita's going to let him turn all of his sidekick dice to sidekick face, which is going to trigger Atlantis a lot of times. Interesting. Back over to Mike. He's got Eddie Guerrero. And he has Forge on his Energize face. So now actions will be -2 to purchase.
Pretty solid.
Again, going back to his supposed game plan, I think, of purchasing Page Manager to get Stompa and Thanos.
Don't start that. Jeez, don't you
Steven on turn 3 with the big yawn.
It's 9. Oh, it's 9?
He's feeling the
Only
burn.
one time zone over?
Yep. 9, and I got 2 kids at the age of 5 and under.
Bingo.
I got an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, so I know where you're at.
Yeah.
I got a 29-year-old.
I get that, Ross. I know what that's like. I have
Are
one
you
of those
talking
too.
about yourself?
I know I am.
I would, yeah, definitely.
He's gonna say yes. This is the right smart move to say.
That's right.
If you re-roll the Eddie, you can get 2 pages. I'm just saying.
I could.
He's just
That's real
saying.
strats.
Just saying.
Especially against your team.
1, 2,
that
3, 4.
sounds
So there's
great.
still 4 sidekicks in the bag.
Oh no, you're 1 short actually. Sorry.
No. They'll both be too cheaper. I can. That's only once per turn.
Yeah, so he could.
Does it count for all actions or too cheap for when?
Oh
it's
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They
Action dice.
The
Period.
first one. Action dice.
Pretty rad. Thor will make the first one that he
He's way
purchased
better.
-2
Like I said,
again.
Energize ability.
So with the
only 1 in 2
energize,
chance.
with the energize and the
He stood out to
Thor
me
Global
initially, and I
Page
was
Manager will
like,
cost
"We're gonna go
1.
harder." But I think
You can buy the second one for 3,
Especially- I already saw somebody build a
which is important.
after they saw me playing this, they built a God Catcher, which I never want to play with.
The God Catcher team.
That's 2 God Catchers right there with Becky Lynch. You bring one over.
Godcatcher gets the most hate. I feel like most hated card in New Modern is the Godcatcher that spawns a 10/10 token when you use an
Let me
action.
think about that.
Pretty rowdy. And beyond that, when that Godcatcher token attacks, you pick a character that must block this turn. What?
That is right against you because
Yeah, what are you doing with the Eddie? You're just throwing him out there and waiting around.
Eddie, 0 to field,
I
which
guess
is
just throwing
the
him out
next
there and waiting
best.
around.
yeah, he doesn't touch it.
Alright.
He can still purchase all of them here, right?
For the Thor Global.
You can buy one for
Becky
3.
Lynch Global.
If he doesn't Becky Lynch, you can buy
Then the
both.
Forged buy a page.
Again, if he doesn't Becky Lynch here, I mean, he does have 4 sidekicks in the bag, so he would be waiting a whole turn.
No reason to resurrect.
He could Atlas. Otherwise, the Bolt is a little wasted.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you're good.
Go ahead.
You're good. Buys another Eddie instead. Classic Eddie Guerrero.
Not good. That's not good.
He's playing the one that says, when Eddie attacks, move all energy dice from your opponent's reserve to the used pile. So, a good way of controlling what your opponent can do on their, at the end of your turn, when you pass priority. Here's Lita. So Lita can
Pass
spend
the
all the
user.
sidekicks that he'd like. So he had to spend a couple to field her, but then he got to spend all of the rest up to sidekick face. Pretty cool. I can imagine with Atlantis that's pretty gross. Single burst here on Page Manager. The double burst would get an additional effect. Double burst being that... So when you use the action, each player adds one of your unpurchased dice to their bag. If you get the double burst, however, your opponent's die is sent to their used pile instead of the bag. So it's a way to get ahead of your opponent. But frankly, I think Mike getting a 9 cost and Steven getting at max, I think he's going to pull a 4 cost here.
I don't have an Atlantis Global.
Oh, that's the wrong.
Ooh, it's the Atlantis without the global. He still has
It'd be
plenty
cool
of
if it did come with one.
he still has plenty of opportunity to use these.
It would be a bit.
He's got the Becky Lynch global. He's got Atlas. I think even Steven has Atlas as well, so he could double Atlas.
I'll use Page Manager.
Okay.
It's only a single burst, so
Single burst. Both players will choose a die.
Just any die on my cards, or just a trick?
any die. It can be
Any die, huh?
anything. I'm gonna buy the Stomper right now.
And Stampa's going to the bag, right?
So is yours.
Yeah. And Stampa puts something back on the card, right?
Yes. I'm gonna use that. Field that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take the Atlantis and put it in my bag because I might as well guarantee it. All right.
Yep.
What you got?
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
All right. 1. Shake it up. See what we draw. Draw 3 more. Just a bunch of sidekicks.
Sidekicks for Steven, which is fine. Because now that Lita's in the field, he can turn them all onto their
Go.
sidekick face if he chooses. So he can think about keeping some of this energy, which is unique about Lita. She lets you choose
Yeah,
as
spend
many
them all to
dice as you
sidekicks.
want. He's going to spend them all to sidekicks, so effectively he's going to draw and roll 6 here.
I'll play Atlantis.
Probably
I will
including some
go
things
1, draw 2.
that are going to get wild,
Roll it.
like another
Ooh,
Atlantis
that's
and a
terrible. We want it
sidekick.
all.
He needs some energy here.
I mean,
He needs some energy, though.
Lita's
Feel
doing
it.
her job too well.
He's now going to draw and roll 4.
Bam.
The sad thing is he doesn't have any more dice.
Technically, I rolled this one.
There you
Hey,
go.
it's a shield.
A shield, the worst energy potentially right now, because the only global on the table with a shield is the Becky Lynch global, which then requires that you have something to purchase after that.
Yeah, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 7.
So Steven deciding how many of these sidekicks he wants to push forward. There's no reason to keep him in the field, because he wants to keep refielding the old sidekicks. He's going to block 3.
KO, 1 goes 3, you take 1.
Mike down to 19.
To you.
The poke and prod has worked. We are back. So Eddie Guerrero here might attack It would make Steven lose this mask, or sorry, this shield in his reserve.
In all the games I've been playing,
It's not really the intent, I don't think.
Stompet's not rolled. Well, it's rolled once.
9 cost Stompa is coming.
Now it's gonna happen.
But
It has the range 2 keyword.
Roll really well against
And when fielded, KO target opposing character die and return it to its card. So Lita could be gone.
there it is.
There's Stompa.
You just gotta talk yourself up a little bit.
Talk yourself up, that's it.
You do
And he gets the double burst on Page Manager, so he could get
talk
a
myself.
Thanos,
Um,
which would be pretty rad. Steven, I imagine, would just pull another Lita, right? So as soon as Stompa is fielded, that Lita's probably going back to her card. I imagine Steven wants to get that back, so he would put that into his use pile. The good news is Steven's going to reload his bag next turn because all of his dice are on the table. Every single die he owns. There's a Gazer.
I made that worse. That's good.
This is the Gazer with Intimidate. Ooh.
One field to Starbuck. I'll KO. I gotta choose the lead.
Yep, Lita's going back to the card.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine. I think, again, not going to be detrimental. Well, it's going to be hurtful since she will not be active for Steven's next turn. Double burst on Page Manager again is going to get Mike any die to his bag and Steven any die to his used. He's going to get Lita. And yep, Mike got a Thanos, put it in the bag. Things are escalating quickly on his side. But Steven's team, I mean, anytime you're playing with that Atlantis, things could escalate real fast. Big explosive turns. Becky Lynch also purchased on Mike's side.
Good against a lot of weenies.
Gonna have some real big boys.
Field one side. So I'll tax.
Not able to field the Gazer.
This goes over
Just
there.
gonna pass.
Five
not
tokens
attack either.
before it come out. Let's see what we get.
You bring it
Really
back
wants to
over?
pull ye old. Oh my. All right, let's see how many sidekicks we can pull here. Or roll, sorry. Oh my.
Either when you got this. Right?
That is the
You
roll.
don't even need her.
Now, sort of a value question here. Is that Atlantis better off as a shield or as draw and roll 4?
I've really been thinking, I like the lead. I just like the possibilities with her.
He doesn't have that many things in the bag, so drawing and rolling 4 seems bad. He's going to keep it on single shield. There's a question mark. Pretty rad.
One of the most, they are the most important part of this game.
I definitely understand and agree. I'm gonna
Not just sidekick characters, but just the whole type in general.
buy 2 Black Widows.
Steve's going to get 2 Black Widows. Now, the reason I think he went for two costs
I'm gonna play the Atlantis.
and 2 Black Widows is because his field is going to get pretty stacked here in just a second. Ooh, doesn't get to re-roll those either.
Play another one. Do what?
Now you have energy to field stuff.
Usually
Maybe if he
when
rolls...
the,
Oh, my gosh.
Holy Atlantis is over, which is nice.
That is a good note. He wants to keep 2... wants to keep 2 energy here for
All of this.
Supreme Intelligence Global
2 sidekicks.
on Mike's turn. He's not going to spend any of those 6. Unless he wants to use it for Pump Global here in a minute.
I can take this.
I'm going to buff this by.
There it is.
You take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 to Mike.
Down to 13.
Down to 13 indeed. So he was going to spend those 4. I just had not seen the future yet.
Sir.
Thanos,
Things about to get
Forge, and Eddie. Steven does have some blockers, but nothing super noteworthy. Oh, yikes. Thanos on his 278 side, which is level 2. Pretty sure he tops out at 8-8, maybe 9-8. Let's check old Thanos' stats just to get ourselves a feeling good. He does go up to a 9-9. Yikes.
Fist pump, right?
Fist pump on Too Big to Fly.
One of your sidekicks has to block.
Yep.
All right, he's going to force a sidekick to block. That way, Thanos is definitely coming back.
No.
Before you do, I have to get priority, so I am going
Yeah.
to.
There we go. There's the Supreme Intelligence we were looking for.
Okay, so let's see. He does double over crush, right? So
Now, a couple
Well, whatever.
developing issues here.
Doubles.
yeah, so 6, 12, right?
Yeah.
is that Steven's going to go wide next turn, right? He's going to get real wide. He's going to try to buff him up with those Black Widows. And Mike is going to only have 2 blockers. So if he can, not die right now, he's going to go down to 8. If he cannot die real fast, I think his team definitely has the bounce back potential, though. 2 sidekicks in the field. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, I'm laughing. That looks pretty good. Lita doesn't matter right now. He really wants every Black Widow and every sidekick to roll. He's got 2 things he likes. Sidekick to keep the fire burning. That's a nope. Didn't get the other Black Widow either, which is a bummer.
I have to roll a shield. Well, no, you only have so much stuff.
Yeah. I will play that.
Gonna field the Black Widow. Everything gets +1 attack.
Yeah. Don't have the range.
It's a shame we didn't get a sidekick here to really make this turn just a chain reaction of crazy stats, to be honest. That's what it could have turned into.
4 to 8, so I'd have to lower that to 4 and then hope you don't roll any pumps. Yeah, I don't have it there. Good game.
Not happening. Concedes and Mike takes it home. Thanos with the Thanos Stompa getting wild.
Yeah, I can do one more.
Let's run it back.
No, I can do one more.
Get wild, folks. Tune into part 2.